Anatomy lesson. Rats have two small, beady eyes. They can only see about 4 feet in front of them, but they can detect movement about 50 feet away. To make up for their poor eyesight, rats have heightened senses of smell, taste, touch, and hearing. Over here we have the caption that goes with this picture down here. Flexible bones also make it easier for rats to survive blows and falls and still land on their feet. Thigmo what? Thigmophilia, of course. This is a big word that means the love of touching, and rats are among the biggest thigmophilias in the world. They like to feel their way around things using their bodies. Rats' bodies are covered with thin, waterproof hairs that they brush along surfaces as they scurry from place to place. Their long, wiry whiskers help them detect things in their path, preventing them from bumping into walls in the depths of sewers and other dark places. See if I can see down the bottom here. Glands that are buried under the skin secrete oil, which they use to mark their territory and help them navigate familiar routes. Rats communicate to each other by chattering their teeth. Rats have small, thin, tulip-shaped ears that are lined with hundreds of sensitive hairs. Rats can detect 2.5 times as many sounds as humans. Rats have flexible skeletons that can easily compress and expand. This allows them to squeeze through a space that is tiny as a quarter. Rats are also equipped with different kinds of teeth for eating and gnawing. Molars at the sides of the jaw grind food into tiny pieces that can be swallowed, while the sharp incisors that hang in front of the lower jaw are used to rip and gnaw. Rat tails help control body temperature. When the rats are too warm, their tails expand and blood flow increases, allowing heat to escape. The tail returns to its regular size when the rat has cooled off. Rats have 2 sets of legs and feet. The hind legs have 5 toes that are much longer and more powerful than the 4 feet. Hind feet help rats run and scale the sides of buildings. The 4 feet are smaller feet that have 4 flexible toes and claws that can be used to grab and hold food while eating. Life cycle. Rats are amazing reproducers, starting young and having many litters throughout their lives. Females, or does, are ready to mate when they are only 11 weeks old and have about 60 to 70 babies a year. Males or bucks have to wait a little longer because they grow more slowly in colonies where they are dominant alpha rats. The bucks do not hang around after mating, but leave the doe to build a nest and prepare for her pups or babies. Rat's nest. Does build a nest from does build a nest from pieces of cloth, newspaper, and other soft materials. About 21 days after mating, does give birth. Most litters include about 7 pups, but some may be as large as 12. After giving birth, the doe licks her pups clean. The pups are very tiny, about the size of a jelly bean. Their eyes and ears are sealed shut so they cannot see or hear. They are also born without hair, so they must snuggle close to their mother to keep warm. What do you think the words doe and buck refer to? What other animals use these words? Based on the sentence, what do you think they call their babies? Okay. By the time the pups are 1 week old, their eyes are open and their bodies are covered in soft fur. Let's take a look at the rat life cycle. We'll start down here at birth. At 3 weeks, pups are fully weaned, which means they no longer suckle and they eat only solid food. Now they are ready to leave the nest. We have weaning to sexual maturity. And then it says most rats live for only 1 or 2 years until they are killed by a predator, illness, or accident. We have mating and conception. And then rats are not full grown until they are 3 months old. Until then, their head and feet are too big for their body. So what does this cycle diagram help us to understand? What does this cycle diagram show? Can you think of other cycles we have studied? All right, hairless rats. The reason why there are so many species of rats is because they have so many babies and because they do not have the same partners for life. Breeding with multiple partners allows for mutations in the gene pool. In other words, weird or interesting adaptations can happen in rats' biology that give them special characteristics. Hairless rats are the result of a gene mutation. These rats have no fur or whiskers. Hairless rats make excellent research subjects because they are prone to various cancers, and their lack of fur make it easier for scientists to study tumors. If a scientist were using hairless rats in an experiment, would they all need to be about the same? Okay. Now we're going to read about rat habitat. Rats live in colonies of up to 700 rats. They sleep together, often in a pile known as a rat heap. The rats groom by nibbling each other's fur. Together, they find new places to eat, sleep, and breed, whether it is behind the subway tracks, under a house, or in a riverbank. Hey, neighbor. Rats like to live in underground tunnels called burrows, which they make themselves. They start by digging a hole up to 18 inches deep. They stuff the main chamber with nesting materials such as rags or newspaper. A system of tunnels connects several burrows so that the neighboring rats can visit each other. As the rat colony grows, more tunnels are added to the system. Individual chambers are for nesting, feeding, and sleeping. Each sleeping chamber is usually big enough for only one rat. They line their nests with soft insulating material to keep warm. Every rat's nest is designed with an escape route or bolt hole. The hole is often covered with leaves or newspapers so that predators cannot see it. If a predator enters the burrow, rats can scurry to safety out of their bolt holes. Over here it says, temple rats in Rajasthan, India are fed milk from pans that are allowed the run of the temple. And are allowed the run of the temple. Can you explain why the author says that rats sleep in a heap? Then she goes on to say that each rat sleeps in its own chamber underground. Home sweet home. Rats are experts at finding homes. As long as they can find water and food, they can live just about anywhere. Garden sheds, bird feeders, even garbage bins. They thrive in forests, warehouses, and shipping docks. They burrow under the sidewalk and into office walls. In the desert, pack rats build their nests in cacti, which protect them from the harsh heat of the sun and cold nighttime temperatures. Rats mark their territory with their urine. Rat colonies have their own group smell, so rats from other colonies instantly know when they have reached the borders of enemy territory. The stick nest rat, found on an island off the coast of Australia, makes a nest by piling sticks up to 5 feet high. Why do you think rats from 2 different colonies might be enemies? Okay. Crawly fact. Reincarnated rats. Karni Mata temple in Rajasthan, India, is home to more than 4,000 rats. The Hindu worshippers who come to pray at the temple believe that the rats are reincarnated souls of saints. Every night, ceremonial drums and bells sound as a priest presents a dish of rice to the rats. When the swarming rats have almost finished their meal, the priest retrieves the dish and passes it among the worshippers, who eat a few grains of rice each. The rats are thought to be so special that if a person accidentally steps on a rat and kills it, they must pay the rat's weight in gold or silver.